Hi everyone, good evening. How's everybody doing this evening? It's a fine Saturday night. It was a cold Saturday night, raining, and had a long day doing my slides for my webinar that's coming out tomorrow. And just staying in the office past few weeks. Visited my grandmother for my Hari Raya visiting yesterday night, so that was nice. So been catching up with some family members. So I think a lot of us are just staying in and still staying in. There's not much, honestly, not much activity for a lot of us to go out and and do all the social activity because we are still in a technical lockdown in a way, because a lot of us just cannot go out and do a lot of stuff, right? Most of us just can't wait to go out and dine outside. I can't wait to go back to the movies. I'm hoping to watch my Top Gun Part 2 soon. I don't know when that will be rescheduled to. Hopefully in December, and I can still watch it again. And most of us, I'm sure, is looking forward to back to a sense of normalcy. Being able to go back to work sometime, going back to the office, it's just getting back in the rhythm of normal things. And like yourself, I'm the same. Although my office and my home is the same, and that's how we've been adopting our working model for the last few years, by having a house, whereby a section of the house is meant for office, where the rest of the house is where I stay in, and that allows me to be able to live for free. Okay, I get to live for free, and the rent that I get from that the company pays for the house goes towards reducing my total taxable income. So that's something that I engineered for the company, because I'm in real estate, right? So I have to ensure that I apply whatever I learn in real estate for my business. So that's one of it. So now, hello, whoever that is, I'm not so sure. You have to grant me, you have to grant permission to StreamYard to display your name, because I'm not so sure who you are, who just say hi. Hello back to you. So wherever you're from, just drop me a text. And if you think this is something valuable, I have something to share with you this evening. Something a lot of you might be keen to know and find out how this works. It's the topic that we have this evening is about investing with just 10,000. What can you do? Okay, what can you do to invest 10,000? Now there's plenty of stuff that you can do. Things like stocks, things like maybe some of you put it into the fixed deposit. Trading this money in the stock market will be something that a lot of you could be familiar with. And sometimes some of you might take the unorthodox method by putting it in some scams. Okay, and this is something that I noticed when people put in scams. This is what I'm gonna personally share this experience of mine that I did before. Okay, it was a scam. When it comes to scam, everybody is very keen. Oh, hello, Sazit. I just spoke just now. So when it comes to scam, so not Ustaz, scam is haram, Ustaz. Okay, so anyway, back to my topic. When it comes to scam, people are very averse to it. Some people like it. Let me explain how I see it at some point. When I was presented with a scam opportunity, right? It was an opportunity like back in 2012, from 2011. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, 7-8 years ago. It was this company called VGMC, Virgin Gold Mining Corporation. They died. They are obviously a scam. So I was presented with that opportunity by my friend, and she was from Malaysia. She brought the upline, right? Her upline, who came down and spoke about the scam. And what I realized was that when they presented, they were so in awe with what they were earning. You see, the moment they sit down with you, and the only thing they do, look, I'm making money. And then they show you the screen. Look, see, this is my bank account. I'm making that money. Never talk about the business. Never talk about the model. Never talk about how it works. All they do is, look, see, I'm making this money. They're so excited to show money. So I just put this money last month, and this month I made the money. And they actually did. They made the money. They earned the income, and it was crazy. Like 12% a month or something, 10%. It was insane. 10-12% a month. And by the third month, I calculated, you would break even. You get all your money back. So they were so like sold out to it, and they gave me this very, very bombastic answer when I asked them this. So this is clearly a scam. All right, I check online, and they do all this fancy dinner. They do all this fancy what's that, dinner and dance, and people came from all over the world. They show all this fancy office, right? And they were showing all these things. So if we are a scam, how can this be true? How can we do all this? So a bit naive, right? And someone else, they will explain to me, look, if it's a scam, how can I be making money? The basis of a scam is to let you make money, is to allow you to have the income for several months. You get addicted and you get drugged to it, and you show more people, and they show more people, they get addicted to, wow, easy money. Put money in, next month come out. Same amount, 12% a month. By the time, I don't know how long, you get all the money back after 3-4 months, I think. No, it's about 20%. I don't remember, okay? But it was insane. When they were making that much money and they were showing, I was looking, wow, not bad. Huh? So these guys are really making a lot of money. And I'm thinking, at that point in time, I haven't started my investing journey in anything, not even stocks, not even real estate, nothing. I was just a working employee. I was making some good money. So I'm thinking, looking at that, and I have some savings. Do not follow these guys. Do not try to follow this for yourself, please. Don't do that. All right. But this is where I told myself, so if I invest 10,000 USD, which I had at that point, I can make this much money. And in 3 months, I can break even. If I break even in 3 months, am I willing to risk? This is my question. To risk putting my money in this scam and then getting back my money in 3 months' time. This is something, do not ever try this. But I told myself, well, I think I'm willing. So when I spoke to them, they were there. I told them there's a scam. They were obviously very, very offended. But I said, this is an obvious scam. All right. You all are just a bit blind not to see this is a scam. Okay. But I'm willing to enter because I'm willing to risk my money, because I have no idea how the stock market works at that point in time. I don't know what else. If I put my money in the bank at 1%, and this, if either I lose it, I mean, I'm still a healthy adult. I can still work for it, get some commissions. It's not a big deal at that point. So let's put my money inside. 10,000 USD, I put it in, and I did. I broke even at the 3rd month. I got all my money back. At the 4th month, I made extra profit. Okay, and then I was doing that, and some people know that I'm doing. Then they asked me, because I spoke to them. I made some scam, and then they followed me 3 months later. Hey, how's the scam? Huh? Do you make money? And I told them, yes, I did. I made some money, you know. And then they got excited. Something about human being, when it comes to scam, easy money, like, you all just draw yourselves naturally to to earning quick, easy money. It's a natural human being, right? If only I show all my results on Facebook, put all the pictures, put all the bank statement, I think I'll be getting a lot of all these people coming in. Because whenever someone, I didn't refer to anyone. I spoke to some friends. They say they follow me. If you make money, then I want to enter. Okay, I'm also willing to risk it. So, but please, I told them, this is at your own risk. If you lose the money, do not blame it on me, because I know for a fact this is a scam, and this scam is gonna tumble one day. And exactly at the 5th month, they tumbled. They crashed. My friend broke even only. Oh no, they didn't. I think they lost money. So I said, don't blame me, right? Okay, but they crashed. VGMC disappeared. Then I texted them and asked them, are you okay? Right? So and they were like, oh my God. But I told them, I warn you, if you're gonna lose the money in the scam. And they did. They lost some money. No, they actually made about 2 months, so they lost a bit, not everything. Okay, but thank God they didn't invite anyone else. But I made 1 month worth of extra profit lah. So, well, if only I had seen the scam much earlier, probably I made some good money. Okay, and I made some good money, and probably I'll be happier then. But well, 1 month extra of the income, I don't mind. Okay, so this is how I see scams. If the scam is like a year old or less, I might consider at that point. But now no more, no scam for me. At that point in time, I had no knowledge of anything, so I was considering it. So people sometimes were thinking, if you have 10,000 USD, what do you want to put in? Everybody want to put your money into a high returns, quick money, quick period exit. Everybody wants that. But the reality of the matter is this: it is not there. All right. If the world allows you to be able to just put your money into an account, and all you do, press the button, that next month the money come out, without understanding what you're investing in, without knowing when to exit, when to enter, like trading is very legitimate. But instead, no, all you do, put money in, next month, boom, every time you just come up with profit. No, that's obviously something scamish. Okay, so, and there's no risk, there's no way that it's going to be risky. So you got to be very, very careful with this. All right, so that's my own experience with that company. It has disappeared a long time ago. So I know for a fact that whoever I invite, I think I'm still in touch with them. So they made some money, but they didn't make enough to break even. Well, I did broke even, and I got additional 1 month of income there. So technically, I did profit from the scam lah. But yeah, that's my little story. Okay, so let's just take a look at some of the news I want to share with you about US real estate. Now comes the boring part, right? The boring part about real stuff, real estate, everything. These are all boring stuff. When it comes to like scam, make quick money, everybody start being very excited. Okay, so this is the boring stuff, and I'm gonna update about the boring stuff that I read all the time. What's it? Subscribe to this particular website, housingwire.com. They give very good articles, and the articles now are leaning towards housing recovery. Okay, I'm a bit apprehensive, but let me just share with you what's happening. So the listings of people coming into the market to list their property is surging. Okay, there's a lot of people coming to the market to sell their property, and when all these people are coming, it shows a recovery. It shows a robust buying and selling activity in the market. So this is something good for the industry itself, for homeowners, for sellers. So there are people coming in wanting to buy, right? Wanting to sell, and people wanting to buy, because people has been allowed to move around again. Lockdowns have kind of closed, but of course, I'm sure some of you are reading the news. There are riots, and the second wave of coronavirus is coming back in the US. Put that aside for the time being. Okay, all these are opportunity in crisis. You can still detect and still see. Okay, the more crisis there are, the more opportunities there will be for all of us. All right, so come from that angle. So a lot of people, they get hooked into the sentiment. Everything is bad means they want to run. No, when everything is bad, open your eyes further to look at what kind of opportunities would there be for you to enter. This is something that I will advise. Don't immediately run. Okay, being afraid, hey, it's crisis. Are you crazy? No, don't do that. All right. When it's a crisis, when things are becoming bad, becoming worse, that's the time you should open your eyes further, bigger. Okay, open your eyes and find the opportunity. That's the time. All right. Don't be like the majority. Don't do that. Okay. And then mortgage rates tumbling to an all-time low. Why are they tumbling to an all-time low? When the stock market, especially there was a recent rout, right? In the stock market, it tumbled like crazy since March or something. They see the largest drop, and this volatility in the stock market caused a lot of institutional buyers, investors, these big boys. They are shifting. Some of them are shifting their investment into something that is more safe haven, like bonds in the low, US Treasury bonds. These are the main one, and mortgage-backed security. What is that? Literally, in the US, mortgage loans are always financialized. Whenever you buy a property using mortgage, the bank take that mortgage, that piece of paper, they securitize it into a mortgage-backed security. So it becomes a piece of paper, and they sell it in the secondary market, whereby people, all these Federal Reserve will even buy them. Whoever big wholesale buyers, they will just buy this security. Okay, it's a security because it's like they convert it into a bond, right? So when the mortgage becomes a bond, it gets traded at the back end, which is totally off limits to us. We don't see all this activity. It is at the back between the banks and all the financial institutions, because the US is a highly financialized market, right? So all this, your mortgage is considered a AAA rating bond, some of them. Okay, so when all these bonds get traded, okay, all these buyers, these fund managers, all these institutional buyers, they move away from the highly volatile stock market. They sell their position, they put their money into a much more secure investment like the bond market or the mortgage-backed security. These are much more secure. So when they are clamoring for the same amount of mortgage, okay, so it helps to push the yield of the mortgage lower, because there's more demand, right? There's more demand, so the interest becomes lower. So when the interest becomes lower, mortgage drop in price, in value at the same time. Okay, so this is what's happening. So that's why mortgage rates are dropping. Okay, because there's demand from a lot of buyers wanting to buy all these mortgage-backed securities. So mortgage drop. The only way for them to get more mortgage is to drop the mortgage rate, so that more buyers in the market will come in and buy property using the mortgage. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense to you. If it does make sense, please just like this video, okay, or just say yes in the video. All right. So if you don't understand, I'm more than happy to talk to you in person, in private. Then I'll explain a bit more, okay? Because the US is a highly financialized market. All right. So then the other thing is this: those property in forbearance, meaning when the homeowner, they call the bank up and they say, look, give me 6 months worth of forbearance. I don't want to pay mortgage for 6 months. And then they can call in, automatically extend for another 6 months. When they don't want to extend, they want to extend. Why would they want to extend? When they extend, it is a good thing to extend, meaning that you have 6 months to save your money rather than pay your money into the mortgage. What you did is that because the Federal Reserve allow you to push all your entire 12 months into the back of the loan. All right. So in other words, sometimes you extend, sometimes you pay at the back of the loan, sometimes you pay. It depends on how the banks treat you. Whatever they have the scheme with you, you can always consult them. This is for the borrowers in the US. So they extend. So in fact, if you notice, the bank savings in the US have increased during the pandemic because people are getting money from the government. When they get money from the government, they save. Some of them save the money in the government because they have now not much things to buy, right? They cannot go out. They don't use it as much. Some of them they pay rent. Some of them they just keep the money. They only spend on essentials. A lot of them they do that, and they are keeping it for the rainy days. So that's why savings went up in the US. At the same time, a lot of them kept their money from paying the mortgage, so they keep it for 12 months. So they keep the money, all right, and then they save this money. And all these people, only 1 out of 10 of these people who request for the forbearance, for the mortgage to be pushed to the back, only 1 in 10. Or now let's say that 9 out of 10 of these borrowers who request for forbearance have a lot of equity in their mortgage, meaning they own a lot of, they have paid for the mortgage for a long time. Okay, they have paid for it. So they have a lot of skin in the game. So a lot of the equity, so the interest is getting lesser. They've paid a lot of the principal on the mortgage, right? So what the equity that they own in the property is a lot higher. So if you see 80% of homeowners forbearance have 20% or more equity. Okay, when people have a lot of equity in the property, unlikely for them to want to allow the property to go into foreclosure. You follow? And when the property will not go into foreclosure, it would mean that, hey, this property are rather healthy, so people will want to keep it for themselves. So what this is pointing towards is that the market has more or less kind of recovered. Okay, but this is where I urge some caution. Okay, because this is just one side of the entire market. You have to look at the entire industry in a wholesome view. Okay, all right, you got to look at it in a wholesome view. So some people feel that the market has recovered for property. I find it's a bit premature, and in my slide later I'll explain why. Okay, all right. So that's the news. So $10,000 capital. Let's go back into that particular topic that we want to talk about this evening. So how do you invest this 10,000? I do not advocate anyone to buy one property for just 10,000 and thinking that you'll be rich from that one property. Real estate, this is the part where it will become very unattractive to a lot of you. Real estate is a get rich slow scheme. That's one thing about real estate. It's get rich slow. And when you get rich slow, a lot of people don't like. They want to get rich quick. Come on, show me what I get rich quick. Go back to my scam part of this video I talked about earlier. But when it comes to real estate, it's a get rich slow. So when I have 10,000, I want to invest on my own. I don't advise that. Okay. If you buy solo, usually the property in the US, okay, look, 10,000 in Singapore, you cannot buy anything. Sometimes 10,000 will last only for a month in a high standard of living country like Singapore. Now, 10,000, you rather put it into something that can generate you income. Okay. And I will always advise people to invest in something that pays you. There's only a few things out there. One is property, but it gives you rental income. Second, it is dividend stocks. Third is you invest in company that give you dividends. You can also invest in bonds, but the rates are so little, it becomes like insignificant sometimes. All right. But if you were to just buy a property by yourself at 10,000 is something a little risky. Why? Because the property is likely to be very low in value, and the risk is a lot higher. When the risk is higher, I hope you can see though. Can you see? Bit small, right? I'm so sorry. There's a higher risk on you when you buy a low value property by yourself, because usually the property is located in an undesirable place. Okay, and you don't have any reserves and buffer for this for anything that unforeseen event that happened to you that requires extra money. You don't have any unforeseen event. You're not prepared for that. So that's something unadvised. I don't advise this at all for anyone wanting to enter a property market buying by themselves with just 10,000. It is not advisable. You should look at leveraging. Okay. Now the leveraging, you can use the bank, or you can use I will explain in a short while how that works. And the limitation to you in choices, you will not have a lot of abundant property to choose from. Your choices are very limited, and the limit these choices are limited to the worst properties. These are not something I would buy sometimes. Okay, I will stay away from them. Of course, if you end up with like a property which is highly unlikely, that's super nice, super beautiful, and you can buy for 10,000 for some weird reason, then by all means, please. But usually in the US, most of them, these properties are in a very undesirable place, the ghetto and all that. Okay, so if not, then how do you do it? Not by solo. The other method is to do it as a group. Okay, as a group, all right. Now you are able to come together and buy a higher value property because you're co-investing. So you're co-investing in different groups, with different people, and you're buying this property. You're forming a higher capital base to be able to buy a higher value property. Now, this is the thing. You have to get a manager to run the whole thing for you, which is like what Noble Sky do. And whenever you earn, if the company, the co-investment group earn 30%, you will still earn 30% on the 10,000. You see, it's still the same, right? Okay, because it's a proportionate. Whatever you invest, you will proportionally own, and your the property is proportionate to the amount of profits you will get. Right? It's a lower risk activity, and you have buffer set aside because all of you are coming together to set all this buffer, and you're planning in the first place before you buy the property how much you require for rehab, how much you require for acquisition, how much you require for miscellaneous, which I will explain shortly. Okay, and there are more choices for you to choose from to buy this property. All right. So example here, there's 5 of you, A, B, C, D, E, and 5 of you come together to form ABC LLC. Okay, and example, 25% of the property, 15% of the property, 10% of the property. This, what are these? I'll explain. Property value 200,000. Purchase price 50,000. That's 25%. Okay, 25% of the property is $50,000. That's the purchase price that you pay for, and then the rehab cost is $30,000. That's the 15%. And the miscellaneous cost of 10,000 or 20,000. That's from the 10%. Now, this is an example of a group investing. And ABC LLC is managed by a neutral party. In this case, sometimes people like us, Noble Sky. So when you have this group coming together, you are looking at this as a purely passive investment while the manager runs the show for you. Okay, so total capital example for all these 5 folks is $100,000. That's not the price of the property. The price of the property is 200,000. 100,000 is the amount of capital placed into ABC LLC. So the ABC LLC has these funds to run the project. Okay, so that's the amount. So 100,000. So example, investor A put in 10,000, get 10%. Investor B also put 10,000, 10%. Investor C put in higher, 15,000, 15%. Investor D put in 25,000, and investor E put in more, 40,000, for example. Okay, so this is the case whereby you have 5 investors putting different amount, and the percentage ownership of the property of the of the LLC, ABC LLC, okay, is proportionate to how much you put in. The ownership is how much you put in is proportionate. Okay, so when you earn a profit, it's the same amount. So when this property gets sold or get rented, if the income that comes back in from the property back to the LLC before the LLC disburse back to each of the investor, the amount is proportionate. Okay, so if you invest 10,000, you get 10% ownership. So any profit or income, you are entitled to 10% of that. Okay, that's how it works. This is how we make things very, very fair. So this is the methodology that we employ to allow our investor to invest with as little as 10,000 USD. Okay, sometimes even we accept 5,000. Now, let me show you an example of what I mean. Okay, so I am subscribed to a couple of mailing lists by sellers, wholesalers in the US, whereby they always send me properties that I'm always looking at, and I'm always punching and I'm trying to figure out whether this is a good buy or not a good buy. So this is a $29,000 property that is on sale in Port Arthur, Texas. We have 2 properties in Port Arthur, but this property is not exactly in a good area for me to want to consider and buy them. But I'm just showing an example. Just 29,000, okay, to buy this property. And technically, you can, if looking back at the principle of this, if it's 29,000, you only require, for example, let's say 50,000, right? 50,000 in cash, 29,000 to buy, and then you realize not much things to fix up. Maybe looking at the pictures. So it is a buy and hold property. So repair estimate of 30 to 5,000, all in cost 75,000. Okay, so they give you all the idea of how much it costs. These are the rest of the pictures, right? So look at this. If you think we need about 75,000 to invest, so between the 5 of you, if there is 5 of you, how do you split the 75K? Some of you may be putting 20,000, some of you 5,000, some of you 15,000. Doesn't matter. You are coming in to form a business that you are proportionally owning to how much you invest, all right? The ownership is proportionate. So you can decide. You can buy this kind of property and then 29,000 and then choose to hold it for the long term and then you earn a rental income. That's one. This makes investing in property a lot more affordable than investing property in Singapore. Tomorrow, I'm running a webinar. I'm going to show you exactly how a big difference between the Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia market compared to the US market. You see how much of a big difference they are, and you will realize, oh my God, this is what I've been doing all this while, and this is what I've been subjected to in my local market. Yes, this is something I want to explain tomorrow. Join us in the webinar tomorrow. Okay, so this is one example. What about another example? Okay, that I saw in Polk County. It's an auction. This is an auction that I looked at. This is another one. Right, for this property, Lakeview Avenue, value about 61,000. This is assessed value, not market value. So market value is usually a lot higher, and was won for $33,600. Okay, so this is the property. They put down the address on the assessor, and there you go. Let me show you. That's the property, Lakeview. Then I'm looking at the property. Is this something I want to buy? 33,000. If I can win at 33,000, tada, that property looks like some, I don't know what's growing at the back of the house, right? Okay, so you are seeing all this activity, okay, at the back of the house. And well, this property is viewed in the last video. Okay, this is last seen 2016, June 20. Well, that's 4 years back. So be very careful. You make sure you send someone to the ground, like a scout, to ensure the property is still there. It's very important that you do that. It's 4 years ago. Okay, let's assume this was just taken recently. So okay, not bad. I think I like. So then you do one more step. You do more research. You take a look, and then you realize, oh, the property is here. Just ensure that's the right property. This one. Okay. Then you look, wow, 135,000 is a rough estimate. This estimate is not really true market value, but you're supposed to do your research. I've covered this in my past video where I showed you all how to find the value of the property. Okay. But looking at this, not too bad. Looking at the area. Okay. Let me just use any for the time being. Okay. There are very good properties on sale that was sold. The yellow dots of what's sold, that's rather healthy. This is probably a land, if I'm not mistaken. A piece of land. All right. Okay. It's a very low amount, usually a piece of land. Then the rest of the properties there are not too bad. The values are good. So this guy is actually rather smart. So he paid very low for the property, and then he owns a property in a very good area of the county that has rather high value. Okay. If I were to check what's for sale, wow, look at that. Number of sold properties are more than number of for sale. So it means there is demand, right? And these are what's currently on sale by whoever they want to try and sell them. And $348,000 property, not too bad. Okay, Bartow, Florida. All right. So you see here, all right, all these properties, you have to do the research. And if you stumble upon any of this property by yourself, any of my clients, okay, we do all this work for you. You don't have to do any of this on your own. You can rely on us 100% to do this work for you. We will look at all this property and punch the numbers for you and analyze and decide whether this is a good property to buy or not. So these are some of the works we do for you. If you're not my client, if you find and stumble upon anything, send me a message, and I will be more than happy to run through my numbers and see whether this is something I would consider buying for myself or for my investors. Okay, all right. So that's how we make things affordable. So you can invest 10,000 by yourself. To invest 10,000, I don't advise. Okay, this video goes out to people who wants to invest, and starting with 5,000 to 10,000, invest in a group so that you have access to a higher quality, higher value property. That's what you want. Not by yourself. Invest in some part of the country whereby you invest 5,000 and then after that you don't know what you do, and then go boom, gone. Your investment is gone. It's no longer productive. So that's not what you want to end up having in the end. Okay. Right. So I feel there's still a lot of uncertainty ahead. Still is. And if you watch a lot of experts giving their analysis and opinion and insight on what's happening in the economy, there's a lot of uncertainty, and people are already saying depression, Armageddon, all kind of word is happening that they're throwing all around. And potential opportunities are still abundant. In any form of crisis, we should be, those who are educated, they know this is the time for you to smile and be happy, because there's a lot of opportunity for you to look at buying something that can generate you a fair bit of income or money. All right. So but anticipate to hold on to it for a while. All right, you have to look at properties, but you can buy and hold it for a while. Then foreclosures, you have to understand, foreclosure will take a while to be processed. So when properties are being foreclosed, it takes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So the thing is this, when it takes a while, people think, oh, so it's going to take a while, so I'm only going to enter the market in 3 years. Wrong. Don't do that. Okay. Homeowners wanting to avoid foreclosure, they are looking at offloading the properties at distressed value. So these homeowners, if you understand the US market, this is how they work. Homeowners, they are distressed. They are going through their head. I don't want to hold on to this property anymore. I don't want to refinance. I don't want to stay here. I want to sell off this property. Sometimes they don't know what to do. Okay. The one who reach out to them is always this wholesaler who will always send a lot of letters to the houses, and they say, I'm a cash buyer. I have a lot of buyers who buy your property for cash. And the homeowners will link up to the wholesaler. Wholesaler put the property in the contract, and wholesaler send the email like what you saw here that I received from these people, right? They send this email, and then you realize, oh, these people are wanting to offload these properties because they don't want to reach the point of foreclosure. See, so you come in to buy the property out from the distressed buyer. So this is always happening. This activity by homeowners is always happening right now. So if you're wanting to think of, okay, I want to wait until 3 years later, then I'll buy something, you are missing out on opportunities. You're not sticking to fundamentals. Okay, my fundamental always buy discounted because I don't know what's going to happen. People did not realize that the stock market is going to boom, right? It's going through the roof. That's just a few days ago or last week. They were like, whoa, all in uproar. Not uproar, wrong term. They were like so happy, right? And because everything's going up, it is going to go up forever, and then it crashed, right? When it was going up, there were a lot of news coming out in the news. Oh, your recovery is back. Everything's good. Everything's great, and people buy into it. They buy, and then when it crashed, and people keep saying it's doom, it's gloom, and everything's going to end. So don't be swayed by all this that's happening in the market. All right, in real estate, stick to fundamentals, buy a discounted price, because if you try to time the market, you might lose your opportunity. You might lose it, and you don't know what's going to happen. If I'm thinking, hey, if I buy the property now, will I make money? Always stick to fundamentals. How much is the value of the property? How much are you paying for it? That's it. Stick to that. Be more cautious. That's a given. That's something you should do. Be more cautious. Just don't jump into something unnecessarily. Do your homework first, be more cautious, and then you take action. But don't say, okay, I'm going to not look at anything for the next 2 to 3 years, then I'll buy something. It's lost opportunity for you. Okay? All right? So that's all I have for this evening. If you have anything that you want to ask me, I'll be more than happy if you just drop a text. Then I can always reply to you after this broadcast, or after this live video. Then I can always discuss you later on. So if that's about it that we have for this evening, I would want to say thank you so much for all those of you who tune in and watch this humble video of mine. And tomorrow I'm running a webinar. If you're interested in the webinar, please drop your email. I think email. Is there a link for the webinar? Is there a link? There's a link. All right, so drop your email. We'll send you a link to register for the webinar tomorrow. We'll teach you exactly how you can be a client of ours, so we help you to service your portfolio and create your portfolio of properties in the US, and how you can start buying at a low affordable price, because we allow you to leverage amongst our group of investors. So if you're keen to know how this is done, we are doing a very special webinar tomorrow, and I hope you can tune in. It's brand new, it's fresh, and it's very different from what some of you might have seen before in my other webinar. Okay, all right. So other than that, have a good night, everyone, and stay safe, stay at home, and bye-bye. Take care.